So do I just sit here until Chica attacks me or something? Oh yeah, it'll be Chica. Either that or I get driven to insanity. Hey there, and welcome back to Crawlspace, where we're pretty much gonna go through the game one more time, try and listen to Garvey's phone calls, see what we can learn from them. Hopefully we can learn some interesting things. And then afterwards, we're gonna talk about the journal, because the journal is in a weird spot right now. As I mentioned, in previous videos about this point, obviously one of the main things I'm missing from this game is the journal, which literally is in this spot down here. The problem is that in order to get the journal, you need to play all of the death mini games. The problem with that is the fact that you can only play all the death mini games by either dying enough times to the point where you manage to get all of them by chance, or playing them in the extras. The problem is the only way to play the death mini games in extras is by beating night 6, and if you beat night 6 you can no longer get the journal. Now the developers have addressed this and are planning on releasing an update where you'll be able to get the journal no matter what point in the game you are, but obviously that hasn't happened yet, and I can't, or at least I'm not planning on waiting for that. So what I'm going to probably end up doing is taking a look at Indie Fuel's video for the journal and try and read through it, see what we can make out of it. With that said, night 1, Garvey's phone call from the previous Crawlspace video, he was pretty much just giving us a rundown, obviously, and we already know that he doesn't plan on calling us again the next night, right? He said, he doubts John is going to have him call us again. Not John, Peter is going to call us again. Though I think he'll be a bit surprised. Camera 6 is in the kitchen, and there's like this gaping hole in the middle. I wonder, I don't think that was ever addressed, right? Or well, they wouldn't address it. This isn't real. But I wonder if that's supposed to lead anywhere, or is it that something comes out of that pit? I don't even remember if I addressed that, by the way. The fact that the endings, right? Obviously, good ending, or not good ending, stability ending, sanity ending. Stability ending refers to the spring lock. Someone mentioned this in the comments. Obviously, if you choose to sacrifice stability, you're kind of sacrificing not just the stability of Deep Zero in a sense, but also... Oh, wait, what? Oh, I'm screwed. Okay, I was getting a little cocky there, to be honest. But yeah, obviously we know sacrifice sanity, you pretty much, you go insane, but you don't set off the spring locks. I'm not sure what would be a better... I mean, honestly, I don't know. Could you say, what would be a better fate? I wonder, what would you choose? I'm probably going to have a quiz, your poll, I guess. I'm curious, would you... What if you were in this position, what do you think would be the most favorable, or I guess least not favorable? Whatever, what would you think is a better fate? Or maybe I should ask what's a worse fate. I mean, that might make more sense there in the context. I've been trying to make more use of that little quiz feature in the videos, just so, for some interactivity. Curious to see what you guys think. Especially also because, I don't know, it was a pretty interesting feature to use in earlier videos. I think like a couple months ago. I completely forgot about the feature, by the way. I was doing some quizzes. I think I started getting access to that feature in February, and I just completely forgot about it until, I don't know, I think I just randomly saw it one day. I'm like, oh, that's right, I forgot I can set up quizzes, technically, in the, quizzes. I don't know why they call it quizzes. It could have just been I wish they did quizzes / polls, because do you really need to do quizzes, you know what I mean? For any video? I feel like polls also work as well. Alright, so now we're entering the Crawlspace segment. I can't believe... There's a few things that I don't think I quite realized when I was playing the game for the first time. First off, the phone guy, for my first playthrough, I didn't realize that was an alternate or maybe future version of me. I didn't realize that at the very beginning, they said, "It's me, you." And now that makes somewhat more sense when after you do this minigame, right, and you actually get to go out, you speak to a more deteriorated cake bear, right? If I remember correctly, you speak to a more deteriorated cake bear, and I guess that's supposed to be like, yeah, that's literally like the future you in a sense. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that. Also, I'm pretty sure I haven't addressed this yet, but I never noticed that these were the angel animatronics. I completely forgot about them. I think in general my mind was preoccupied with Night 6 being the Crawlspace segment, that when I saw them, it's like I didn't recognize them, right? I think partially because of the perspective that you have, like, I mean, I don't know, I'm just not that way, I guess, but I didn't recognize them as the angel animatronics. Especially, like, I think the only one I saw that I could clearly tell, now that I look back at it, was Chica, right? Chica was the only one that looked very familiar. Bonnie, on the other hand, did not look that familiar for me. But yeah, that solves my mystery of the angel animatronics.
Hey Fritz, it's me again.
Hey.
I know you're expecting a call from Peter,
But I know you're calling me instead.
with the investigation, and he told me to give you a rundown of what's new for tonight.
Got
Basically,
it.
you'll have to deal with 2 new animatronics tonight. Chica will make her way from the main show stage and leave to other cameras around the building. Peter didn't say which cameras, but I'm sure you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Either way, once you start yelling into a camera, use the building's built-in alarm system. There should be a button on the left interface of the cameras by the map. She's pretty sensitive to loud noises, so it'll deter her and she'll go back to the main show stage afterwards. As for Foxy, he's pretty simple. He'll go from parts and services room and he'll make his way to cam 5. You want to use your flash beacon. This can be found to the left-hand side. There's a button for that in the camera layout, and after that you should go back to parts and service. Now, ordinarily Peter would explain some history about the building, but he's not really... You know, Peter never really explained much about this building to me.
Okay.
It was apparently a place that Alex was building when Red Bears was really getting hot, but I don't know, it's been left for quite a while. I mean, Peter went there a couple times and grabbed some spare parts, but I really like talking about what's in there.
Really?
I don't know. I find the whole thing kind of weird, but each their own, I guess. Either way, thanks for doing this again, and shit, I might talk to you tomorrow night. See.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So at least we got to learn a bit more about, I guess, Peter getting some spare parts. I just realized that there is quite a bit of irony, you know, for everything that happened. Like the three phone guys, right? Like, there's quite a bit of irony for each one. Obviously, having a future, you know, quote unquote version of yourself kind of you know, call you throughout this whole ordeal is already a bit... Oh, hold on. Having a future version of yourself call you is already quite a bit, you know, that's ironic in its own way, obviously, given your predicament. And the way how it's, like, throughout, I think, a lot of the night, they're kind of, like, taunting you, almost, for what you failed to do. So that part's ironic. Obviously, it's very ironic the fact that Garvey calls you because he's the one that caused you to be in this mess in the first place. And then Peter, it's ironic because Peter ends up covering up the very crimes that you sought to kind of like get justice for and expose. Oh, I completely forgot about... Damn, I'm not gonna lock in time. Oh, I just barely made it. I gotta pay more closer attention. I forget, they're a bit quicker on this night. I am curious. Might as well try this on now. What happens if I just don't blink? Do I just get jump scared?
You know...
Wait, what? Wait, it auto blinks for me? I did not know that was a thing. Alright, night 3.
Hey Fritz, it's me again. I have to hurry this time. I'm on a time crunch, and Peter asked me to quit this last minute.
Yeah.
Listen, there are only 2 new ones you have to worry about tonight. Freddy goes to either camp 7 or 4. Now, this is important, though. When he starts messing with that generator, if the top hat is on his head, then connect the generator wires correctly.
Yeah.
If it isn't, press
Or connect one incorrectly.
A short circuit will happen, and it should disrupt him and bring him back to the show stage. Puppet is an interesting one. He'll come out of his box and appear in your office. Drain the power as quick as you can, and he'll go away. Failing to do so, and I repeat this, failing to do so will kill you, okay? That thing, I don't even know why we keep that thing. It just sits there. I don't know. I'm looking at these things for the first time, and I don't know why we have these.
I mean, hey, don't look at me, man.
Okay, Peter just said that apparently these things are learning, so Bonnie's new secondary mechanic
Oh, damn, okay. So this is like, okay, I have to get 3 more.
in the hallway, go to the flip side, and turn the fan on.
Go to the flip
It'll make
side.
it go away. Now, Foxy apparently isn't satisfied with the flash beat. He's learning. I don't know why these things are learning, but they
So torment me even more.
Go to the hallway, go to the flip side, watch it repeatedly, and like just get him out of there. I'm not sure what's going on there, and I don't even know why Peter hired you there. This whole thing is just, there's something wrong.
Oh, goddamn.
Peter is kind of stressed about
Horrible.
it. He wants you to give him an update personally on the situation at the end of the week, so hold out there a little longer and we'll get you out of there soon. Just don't let them find you.
Yep, you got it. Yeah, honestly, horrible. Now, you know what I think the real payoff is gonna be for this night? I think it's gonna be night 6. I feel like that's where the real payoff is for the phone guys, because assuming that they don't, assuming that they do indeed go all the way to night 6, that's really the only night where they don't give, like, tutorial, the mechanics throughout the night. So, like, for the most part, we're getting, like, snippets, right, with Garvey here. But oh, come on. But I think things are gonna get more interesting if we have Garvey as part of night 6, because night 6 obviously part of its mechanics, but then you also have that long monologue throughout night 6. Now, if we can get that with Garvey, that'd be pretty cool. I don't know if they have that. If they don't have that, I'm not gonna go through the night all over again, obviously, but it's just something to put into thought by far, because I am again gonna go all the way to night 5, and I guess since we can't get the journal, I might as well go through night 6. Also, one thing I didn't quite mention, I think, when I first played the game through here, but night 3 they announced that these characters have a bunch of secondary mechanics, but I don't think they ever used them on night 3. I think they only use them on night 4.
Fritz, things are not going well, I'll be honest.
Oh, really?
I
Why?
don't know what you're caught up in. I don't know why Peter's being this way, but something isn't right. I saw him earlier today. He had some layouts or schematics, something of the building. It's definitely the one you're in. I didn't make much sense of it, but either way, he remotely activated one of them. I don't know why he would do that. I mean, we're all on the same team here, right?
Uh-huh.
After everything.
Is he talking about Fredbear?
Fuck.
Or Spring Bonnie?
Keep them. The one that caused the incident. Fucking fucking me there. The background camera. I restored the feed.
Yeah, he's talking about some Fredbear.
I have an idea if this is a long shot, but okay, it's the only thing I can offer you, though. I don't know what else to say. Use the alarm system to draw Spring Bonnie back into the safe room. Keep him there. Do not let him get to the kitchen or anywhere near you. The closer he is, the farther you have to.
Well, you can send them back from the kitchen?
Send him back as much as you can using the alarm.
Yeah, you got it.
There are scratches, bright lights, and loud noises that should do the trick if the program still is. As for the other one, you should be able to deter him using your fan in the office. Just turn it off. Static. I don't know why he's always gonna scratches and stuff like that. Just turn off the fan and she'll go away. Just like Bonnie and Foxy, Chica is also learning. She'll go to the left or right cameras. There's no way. The alarm on her. Send her to jam the vents. Do not want that to happen, otherwise the vent seals won't work. Bonnie, okay. Should be fine. Something is going on. I don't know.
Damn it, I lost power.
Telling me. I'm gonna
You got it. Don't worry, we're gonna have to go through this anyway. So do I just sit here until Chica attacks me or something? Oh yeah, it'll be Chica. Either that or I'd get driven to insanity. Fuck. Yeah, I'm starting to hit a roadblock with Night 4. I forgot how much of a... I knew it was a difficulty spike. I know it was. I've already done it, but... Good lord. Finally. That took me longer than I cared to admit, even though I already beat it once.
Why, by any stretch of the fucking imagination?
Huh. Interesting. So I can't hold my breath while they're in front of me. I didn't realize that. I was wondering if it was the blink, but I guess you can't touch anything, I guess. The only thing you can touch is like breathe for a little bit till I make sure it's topped off. But I'm guessing like if you also blink, you're pretty much done. Alright, Night 5 finally.
Yeah,
Oh, what? Say, oh yeah, I know why I'm here. I know why I'm here.
put the pieces together at this point, son. I'm not going to entertain the idea that you have.
Yeah, I would rather you
All I'm
didn't.
going to tell you is that you have a choice to make tonight. That this choice, depending on what you make, will determine your fate. Choose wisely, Fritz. Remember, you can't have it both ways. You really think I won't kill again, Fritz? I won't just go ahead to the next place that's going to open because you know that Peter wouldn't stop. You think I've been trying to tell you this whole time, this whole setup? But I think this is just something I came up with on a whim. You don't think Peter has secrets buried in the dark where no one can find them? That the company doesn't have some dirt under their carpets? Take a first-hand glance at Fritz. This is reality is now. You've heard them have with you. Every night. You know what they're up to. You know their true colors now. You know exactly where the bodies are buried and the bones lay to rot. So why bother at this point, Fritz? Why keep going when you can do something that actually matters? You gotta give it all up because what for the sake of living another day in some beach-ville apartment outside of town? Or get a dead-end job where you're disrespected by your colleagues and your own mother's an ignorant nutcase.
Okay, so when 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. happens on night 5 with Insanity and Yellow Bear showing up, I was convinced that I just barely managed to scrape by with the jump scare and then the ending, right? But no, it looks like I think that part is scripted. I don't think... If I'm trying to remember, can you actually die in that segment? I think, if I remember correctly, quote-unquote future you, right, says that when he shows up, play the alarm for as long as possible. So far, that seems to have kept Insanity at bay. I didn't know what to do about the bear in front of me, I forgot. Now I'm questioning whether this minigame changes at all, depending on who your phone guy is. I'm not gonna bet on it, but it would be cool to see, like, if we ended up, like, for example, obviously this is Fritz, and then whoever we talked to was our phone guy. So, Garvey's motivation so far, right, at least from what I gathered on the phone call, is that he's kind of, like, mentioning how Peter won't stop. I think it's similar, again, I don't know how similar story-wise things could be to Dormitibus Remastered. What I will say is that part of the reason why Garvey and Dormitibus Remastered went after Peter, was trying to ruin Peter's brand, is partially because of how the brand had so much tragedy and it was, responsible for causing harm to John. And so he wanted the place to burn, stay dead, but Peter kept trying to bring it back, and that is something that angered him. And it seems like that seems to be consistent here as well, right? At least, motivation-wise, Garvey has those motivations. He's upset that Peter won't stop trying to open new locations. I don't know, there's I guess this part I have to think of on my own, I guess, why exactly am I dragged here? Oh my god, it's a whole different phone call by Garvey.
I don't know what he's doing, but I'm not going to let him take this from me.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing everything for this opportunity.
Great, now I'm gonna have to listen to this phone call, this whole thing.
Much greater than you ever understand, but you have to beat him at his own game first.
Yeah.
We don't have much time before he follows us here, so don't die on me, okay? Listen up. To win, you have to keep an eye on your left to right hallway cams. When he's in those cameras, you have to seal the vent, or else he'll send his minion out to get you, okay? Yeah. You don't have much time, he moves fast. When he's in the right hallway, use your flash beacon. I don't think one time will cut it, but I could be wrong. When you hear him screaming around the building, use the alarm. He moves very fast, so you'll have to follow him with it. But if you sustain your alarm sequence, it should be enough to deter him. Fritz, this is the final interval. I can't get you out of this. No one can. But let me help you make the choice, okay? We're reaching it, and I can't help you if you don't help yourself.
Alright, so that pretty much concludes the Garvey phone call segment. Obviously, we can always get a new game again and do Peter's side of things. I honestly might do that on my own time when I'm trying to prepare for the story breakdown, because I'm not going to try and do all this again just for Peter, as a video anyway. Alright, now I know originally at the beginning of the video I said I was going to cover Julie's diary, but the plan has changed because, for one, I was going to rely on YouTube video to see what it actually says in the diary, since I haven't been able to find any images of it in the wiki, and I can't get it myself because I'd have to just die continuously until I get all the death mini games, which I'm not going to do. Problem is, one, YouTube compression makes it very difficult to read the cursive in the diary, so I'm not going to try and spend a whole bunch of time trying to transcribe everything. I'd rather wait for the game to get its update where you'll be able to get the journal regardless of your progress in the game, and that way I'll be able to look into the journal on my own time and use whatever I get in the story breakdown, basically. It is still possible that I make a separate video on the journal, but again, I'm not too sure if that's going to happen. Though, from what I understand, there is going to be an update. I don't know if it's going to be the same update, but there's going to be more lore added regarding the journal, so it's always possible. But for now, we're not going to cover the journal. But with that said, that leads us to my thoughts on the game. And honestly, I am left excited and wanting more from this trilogy, honestly. I can't wait for the sequels. Obviously, I think it's safe to say one of my favorite parts about this game is the story. Getting to unravel the beginnings of what's going on here in 1987 through the eyes of Fritz, who isn't a super important character in the grand scheme of things, but is kind of a witness to everything. Or at least a witness to some of the more pivotal moments that ended up leading to his fate. And obviously this whole environment with the Deep Zero, Deep 1, Deep 2, the Deep Realm and everything with Insanity. There's a lot of like interesting characters here that I want to learn more about. And I'm curious to dig in when the next update comes out and when future releases come out as well. Now, gameplay-wise, I am also left pretty surprised. Obviously, I don't have much experience. I don't have any experience with the Insanity trilogy, right? The closest thing I got to this world was when I first played Dormitibus Remastered. But this game with the very cool like flip side mechanic, which when I first came across that, I was like, wait, what? Like I never imagined it would actually be able to work from a gameplay loop standpoint, and yet it works really well. You know, having to balance sanity and stability throughout the night. Obviously, as you get further into the nights, you know, it gets much more strenuous, and it creates this like constant like challenge, and is also serves as a stressor. I kind of mentioned this before, but like the idea that, you know, obviously if it gets too low, right, you start getting hallucinations on the sanity side, or the game starts glitching out. I will say it was a bit of an adjustment getting used to the game tabbing out the way it does, because in general, I like, it's not like I can, I can tolerate it from a game point of view, but like in general, whenever I see the game tab out or something like that, it's like a little like it feels like a little pin needle just scratching me. It's like or like, you know, scratching the chalkboard kind of thing. It's just like, it irks me, but I kind of, you know, got used to it. And then on top of that, obviously you have like the alarm bells, the flashes, like a lot of traditional mechanics, a lot of interesting ones, like the puppet having to waste all your power to force a reset instead of having just a traditional music box mechanic. I do really like that. Obviously having the fan itself be a mechanic is really cool. I wonder what's the whole idea with the fan being like quote-unquote pivotal with the Deep Zero branding and the fact that you have to protect the fan. I wonder what exactly is the idea around that, because that seems like such an interesting idea. I don't know if it's just a play on how, you know, with FNAF there's always a fan or something like that, but or maybe there's just something else, but I don't know. It just seems like a very interesting I guess, like, again, when you load up night 6, obviously it says protect, you know, you have to protect the deep, and the deep is symbolized by the fan. I wonder why they went in that. I wonder what is the reasoning behind that, I guess. And then of course, you know, down to visual design, sound design, really great. I really like the animatronic designs. Insanity, Yellow Bear, honestly these are some gruesome ones, and I don't know what awaits us in the sequels, but I am excited. Just look at these. I can't believe I never recognized them from you know, from the Crawlspace segments. But with that said, finally, I hope you did enjoy. That has been the conclusion to Crawlspace. The game will be description below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, hit that notification bell to keep up to date on future videos, especially when the sequel eventually drops. Who knows when, but I'll be keeping an eye on that. And with that said, I'll see you in another video. Great job to the developers, and take care.